Still celebrating that victory, Titans fans. And after kind of rewatching the highlights and looking over at the statistics, the PFF grades, everything in between, it's clear that the Titans win over the Cardinals got even better looking over it. I mean, that play was still absolutely absurd. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper, and on today's show, I'm going to tell you why this win specifically could start a little trend towards going upward for the Titans, and it looks 100 times better. But before we go and do that, if you're still enjoying this Titans victory, I don't know how many of these we're going to get this season. Last year, we only got 3. So if you're excited for that W, go ahead, smash that like button, and let's show YouTube how many likes that we can get. Before we get started, we did have a little news bump. We had a source-off yesterday, and Ian Rappaport tweeted out that Treylon Burks was completely healthy and that he was going to could sign with anybody. Then Teron Davenport said, well, no, that's not true. He hasn't been released yet. Well, at 3 o'clock today, Tom Pelissero said that the Titans have officially waived Treylon Burks from injured reserve, and he is free to sign with anybody. I know he had bad tenure here in Tennessee, but hopefully he can go out somewhere and maybe revive his career. Now let's get to the W. Start with the offensive line. And we know through the first couple weeks of the season, the offensive line was probably one of the worst in the NFL. Against the Colts, against the Broncos, it was bad. But Peter Skoronski and company were awesome, and I mean awesome, on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. And if you don't believe me, well, the stats don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Wes Wisley, who does Titan stats, and he said everything that the interior offensive linemen have done. They pitched a shutout against the Cardinals. Skoronski, 0 pressures allowed. Lloyd Cushenberry, 0 pressures allowed. Kevin Zeitler, 0 pressures allowed. It just shows how good, how much better it's getting. And I got to give props to Bill Callahan. I mean, Brian Callahan's dad, who's the offensive line coach for the Tennessee Titans, he's been improving this offensive line week in and week out. But it's thanks to this guy right here. Peter Skoronski is having himself an all-pro season. He has shown that he is one of the bright spots on this team offensively. We know Jeffery Simmons is the bright spot on defense. But Skoronski, he's been one of the best guards in the NFL. And when you look at the pass blocking grades from PFF and you go through every single one of them, all 102 graded offensive guards in the NFL, Skoronski has an 80.3, which is incredible. A couple weeks ago, or I think it was last week, he was the first ranked. Well, he's dropped now to 4th. But if you go to who has played 80% of the snaps this season, Skoronski's 3rd. He might even be 2nd, but 4th overall out of 102, 80.3 grade. That's great. That is absolutely great. And it also helps your offensive line. It helps your teammates get better, and we'll get to how much it helps Cam Ward in a second. Here's your full pass blocking stats versus Arizona. Not really going to chime in on the run blocking because I still think that Tony Pollard is getting back into rhythm, and now that Tajay Spears is back, it's mainly a pass blocking team. But Dan Moore Jr. still a little bit iffy. Skoronski though, 89.1. Lloyd Cushenberry, 80.4. Kevin Zeitler, 89. And then Oli Udoh at 74.2. This is the best the O-line has looked through the entire season, and it's slowly gotten better. And we saw it last week in the loss to the Texans. I know it was a rough loss, but it's looked at least a little bit better this week. And we haven't even mentioned that J.C. Latham is still not out. Your starting right tackle is not playing, and the offensive line is gradually increasing, gradually getting better. And finally, when J.C. Latham comes back and he's fully healthy, we knew before that he was out, he was dealing with the hip injury. But when he comes back fully healthy, sitting out, it's going to work and it's going to be better. And with the offensive line being good, it's no coincidence why Cam Ward played his best game of his short NFL career. I know we're only 5 games in, but Cam Ward looked like he showed the potential that he can be in this league for a long time and showed why the Titans drafted him at number 1 overall. I mean, before Sunday, he was on pace to be sacked like 70 times. He was getting sacked a ton. Now he's getting a little bit more comfortable in the pocket, and it shows that you can see that once he gets comfortable in the pocket, he can throw that thing. He can dice up some defenses. You see that most of his passes are not at the line of scrimmage. You're going deep. You had a pass on the right side to Gunnar Helm. You had a pass over the middle to the seam to Calvin Ridley. You had another pass to Calvin Ridley all over the field. And finally, he threw over 200 yards. He did have an interception, which it was tipped and then later ended up as a touchdown. So you can't really blame him for a tipped interception. I'm not going to be mad at him about that. But 265 yards, 53.8 completion percentage. He looks good. And I think going up against the team that you're going to go up against this weekend, you have a really, really good chance to beat this team. You have a really good chance to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. They look awful. They look awful. And kind of a props, you were dead last in NFL power rankings. You're not dead last anymore. It's the New York Jets. And the team you're going up against this weekend, I think you might have passed them in the power rankings for sure. But we'll get into kind of what the pass rush and how much better the pass rush also has been for the Tennessee Titans. But I want to ask you guys this specific question. Grade the Titans' offensive line through 4 weeks or 5 weeks of the NFL season. A, B, C, D, or F. I mean, the past 2 weeks, I'd give it a B+, but, I mean, overall, I got to give them a C. You were looking really, really, really bad. I think someone ranked the Titans' offensive line with a grade of 5, and then they ranked the Broncos with a grade of 100. Now the Titans' pass blocking is like a 6th in the NFL the last 2 weeks. It's doing really, really good. Going to break down just how much of this game means to the Titans coming up in a second. But first, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app. This is a new feature. You can copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or someone whose picks you like. Follow the button. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. And if you don't know how to play, well, it's easy. It takes less than 60 seconds. And if you are just a fan of football, there's postseason baseball going on right now. College football. You can do even esports, or like me, I like to dabble in a little bit of motorsports with some NASCAR in me. So you can make a lineup in less than 60 seconds when you download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, let's talk about the pass rush. And the pass rush was really, really good against the Cardinals. We saw a little bit of it from Jeffery Simmons against the Texans last week, and it felt like it was fully unleashed against the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, in the second half of that game, looked like a shell of himself. I don't know if he got concussed. I mean, he did go back to the locker room, and he came back, so obviously he passed protocol, but he was also making some bonehead decisions, and he had to scramble around for his life because the Titans, they were getting to the quarterback. Last week on Sunday, 17 pressures, 4 sacks, 2 QB hits. They were looking really, really, really good. And you know where it starts with? Well, it starts with the best defensive tackle in football right now, Jeffery Simmons. This is a stat I showed you guys in the one before, but he leads all defensive tackles in total pressures, tackles for loss, double team rate, pass rush win rate, 31% win rate, which is absurd. 24 pressures. Usually defensive tackles, like there's a big saying. If you look at a defensive tackle box score and you kind of look at that as a determinant on how good you are, you probably don't know football. But 24 pressures, which is 5th in the NFL. He's not an edge rusher, people. He's a defensive tackle. He's getting to the quarterback. He got to quarterback in less than 2 seconds. He is on a path to get to his second All-Pro season. And by far, the best defensive tackle in football. He's looking awesome. The question is, they're going to start getting calls. The Titans really want to trade him. And at this point, I think he might be worth 2 first-round picks. So if someone calls up and says, hey, we're going to give you 2 first-round picks for Jeffery Simmons, you might want to take it. But here's what Simmons had to say just about how good his season has been. He says, honestly, think that's been playing a big part in my season because I have been recovering much faster. He did come into this season like 20, 30 pounds. He lost 20, 30 pounds, and that's why he missed OTAs. He says, I'm feeling good going into these games. When I reflect on the last couple of years and think, how did I feel going into week 5 last year? I say, this plan I'm on right now is working. I also want to talk about Jihad Ward, which the Titans kind of signed him later in the offseason. He was not a part of this team back in like May and June, but he has been getting a bunch of snaps, and it's been working out. In a game on Sunday, 33 snaps played, 4 QB pressures. He's got the second most QB pressures on the season among all Titans. That's Draymond Jones. That's Femi Oladejo. That's Arden Key. But he's only played 41% of the defensive snaps. If you have the second most QB pressures, that's how good you're being. The Titans, you got to play him more. You have to play him more. Either you got to take out Arden Key, and I want Femi Oladejo to kind of learn and play, because how else are you going to learn? Playing the game. But if he's playing great, has the second most pressures, and he's getting to the quarterback just as much as anybody on this team, like Jeffery Simmons, well, then you got to play him. So don't play him 40% of the time. I'd like to see that get up to 60. And right now, you play a team where they're bad. They just lost like 40-6. Geno Smith, he looks awful. I don't know how they won week 1. Still don't know how they won week 1, which is insane to say. But they look bad. And the Titans have a great opportunity. I know it's in Vegas, but if you could stop Geno Smith, who's a turnover machine right now with 9 interceptions, you can win this game, and you can start a little winning streak and get more confidence. And hey, maybe Brian Callahan can turn it around. If you want the Titans to beat the Raiders, if you want them to go on a 2-game winning streak, go ahead, hit that thumbs up icon. I want to see him win the game. I like to see Cam Ward play well. I don't want to see them being a laughing stock of the NFL, because you go into this game, well, next week you got the New England Patriots coming to town, and Mike Vrabel, who they just beat the Buffalo Bills. They look really good. So that's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see that one, but let's worry about this one. Hit that thumbs up icon, and while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're giving you guys Titans videos all the time. So if you love the Titans, hit that sub button, and as always, tighten up.